Sometimes you read a lot about how bad a movie is, and you end up buying it anyways. Why is that? Well, it could be for nostalgic reasons, or maybe it's a limited edition, so that old FOMO kicks in and you see some vendors are running out of it, so you want to get it before they're all gone. Maybe it matches something else in your collection. Maybe it's for all those reasons. And that brings us to today's episode. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet full of all the stuff that I love. And today, what many people refer to as one of the worst monster movies ever. And of course I bought it. Let's check it out. Today's film is Reptilicus from 1961, a brisk 82 minutes long in color. This one's about some copper miners who discover this prehistoric reptile tail, and they bring it back to a lab, and these scientists inadvertently bring the entire creature back to life, and he's not real happy about that. So let's start off. First things first, what does this monster look like? Well, it most closely resembles a dragon, but they're using a marionette. You don't see any strings though. They use some optical effects to make it look better. In fact, they use the same team that went on later, years later, to work on the classic TV series, The Outer Limits. When you see the monster in close-up, usually it's in slow motion and the picture gets very grainy, so the whole look of it changes when he's in close-up. He does shoot out some fluorescent green slime, which is obviously animated, and it covers the entire screen when he does that. And so that must have really delighted kids watching this in 1961. It's designed to be like a family film, really designed for drive-ins where the whole family can pay a couple bucks, get in the car and watch a film. When Reptilicus rampages throughout the city, the miniature cityscape is pretty hokey looking. The monster does have a legacy of sorts. First of all, this was a fairly rare color monster movie for 1961, and clips of Reptilicus you can find various places, TV shows like the Beverly Hillbillies, the Monkees, South Park, and of course Mystery Science Theater 3000 did an episode on it. The monster fully shows up, I'd say, around the 30-minute mark of this film. And after that, it's basically the military fighting the monster and the military trying to figure out how they're going to defeat him. What's interesting is very little stock footage of the military maneuvers were used in this. Usually films like this just have stock footage and the film quality shifts very obviously and noticeably. They really brought out tanks, they brought out military guys and artillery and all kinds of stuff for this film. There's a couple of scenes, especially on the water, when they fight him on the water, that looked like stock footage. Otherwise, surprisingly, it was all original footage they made just for this film. Now, as for the other characters in Reptilicus, you could probably argue that the monster is the most interesting character here because the other ones are pretty stock characters. We have the comic relief, sort of a man-child, a custodian wearing overalls, and he's mugging for the camera, like getting scared all the time when he sees the monster. We have an American general. This takes place in Copenhagen. He's brought in to take control of the situation, and he's always angry, and he's always yelling, and he's always just glistening with sweat for some reason. And he provides a voiceover also for the film from the very beginning. We have some scientists walking around in white lab coats. And aside from the monster scenes, it gets pretty talky after a while, and the dialogue is pretty standard stuff. There's this weird montage, maybe halfway through the film, of the general and a couple other people deciding to see the sights of Copenhagen. So all of a sudden this film's like a travelogue with this music going, and they're looking at all the various sites, like maybe a dozen sites in Copenhagen. It looks like a beautiful city. I haven't been there, unfortunately. And I don't know why they put that in there. They even stop at a nightclub, and now we have a musical number with a woman in the nightclub singer performing a musical number. So I don't know why they did that, maybe to prove that they were there, or to justify the budget, or just to pad the film out to 82 minutes. I'm not sure. So is this the worst monster movie we've ever seen? Well, to be honest, I expected it to look worse. Then the monster in The Giant Claw, that one's much worse. That one is Put it this way, if I was watching that and somebody walked in the room, I'd be embarrassed if they saw me watching it. It looks so bad. It's part of this box set back here, this Cold War Creatures box set, which is actually a good box set from Arrow. Then you have the monsters. Well, you have the rubber suit monster, so at least this is not that. It's not a guy in a suit. But you also have like the early Roger Corman films like Beast from the Haunted Cave and Creature from the Haunted Sea. But those are, I wouldn't even count those because those are really horror comedies. They're not to be taken seriously. I don't even know if they're for kids really. And they're shot like in 3 days or something, extremely low budget. So those are kind of ridiculous. I wouldn't even compare that to a monster like this one. So why did I buy Reptilicus? Well, several reasons. Nostalgia, of course, for monster movies in general of this era. I must have seen this on TV when I was a kid. I remember the name. I don't remember seeing the film at all, but the name is familiar. And they did package a lot of these films together, like maybe 8 or 10 films, and sold them to TV back like in the mid 60s and showed them over and over again on Chiller Theater. Every town and every state had a Chiller Theater of some sort. It also goes well with this copy of Gorgo from the same company, this one here, which I did do an episode on. This is a much better film, I think. And my rating for Reptilicus, I'm going to go right down the middle. I'll give this one 2.5 dragons out of 5. So what's on this disc? Well, this is a Vinegar Syndrome disc. This is the limited edition. There are 3 discs. There's a 4K with the film. There's a Blu-ray with the film and all the extras. And there's another Blu-ray, a Danish version. So they must have shot a separate Danish version of this film. There is a poster similar to the one that comes in the Gorgo disc. And it looks like this, where it shows you the monster and details of his various qualities here. And then it also has this nice box, and can you tell it's kind of glows? See, the green on top is glowing, and then Reptilicus is glowing. I don't think the back does at all. There's the back. And then the disc comes in this slipcase, and so it looks like this when you take it out. Okay. There are the picture quality is pretty grainy. Didn't bother me at all. The colors really pop nicely. It's an HDR. There are several extras. There's an audio commentary, which I did not listen to. Thank you, Michael, for reminding me about that. There are several video extras. There's a retrospective of the film. There's a video about the film's legacy. Those are each 30 minutes long. There's an interview with a filmmaker historian that's about 10 minutes long. Where can you see Reptilicus? Well, you can always buy it. I have a feeling that the limited edition is probably gone, but you can buy the standard one, which would just be the disc that I showed you before. It's on the Roku channel. I don't have Roku. I'm not familiar with how that works, how the channel works, but apparently it's on there. You might want to check YouTube also. So feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. Do you have a favorite bad monster movie, or are you just like, don't bother with those at all, which I completely understand? Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. We finally hit a little over 1,400 subscribers. Thank you all so much for taking the time to subscribe. I still would love to get to 1,500. That'd be just great. Subscribing is free. Also free is we're on the Letterboxd app under the Kazdoy Closet. There's a link in the show notes down below, and that's where we leave brief written reviews of other things we're watching that we don't talk about here. Most recently, several movies. We left reviews of Jackpot, Immaculate, Lowlifes, Risky Business, and The Trial, so check that out if you like. Otherwise, hope you like this one. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.